How's it going, everyone? Avitar X back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Oathbound Paladin, particularly the Oath Protection, which is our Tankadin. Alright, first thing I want to talk about before I get started on anything is companions, or more importantly, companion. I had a unicorn drop a Owlbear cub on my lap. If you don't know anything about the Owlbear cub, and you have a Paladin, you should look into it. The problem is they are unreasonably rare and outrageously expensive on the auction house. That's even if you have it on your auction house. I'm on PC, and it usually sits around 8 mil. I don't know what it is on Xbox, and I know PlayStation still doesn't even have it. So, sorry about your luck. However, if you do somehow pray to RNGesus, and you manage to get yourself an Owlbear cub, you can see if you fail to critically hit, you do an additional damage equal to 50% of your power. What this really equates to is my crits do less damage than my regular hits. My regular hits wreck house, which is important because if you're a Paladin tank, you've probably already realized that you do not draw threat. For whatever reason, the threat is broken on Paladins, and the only reasonable way to hold threat is if you do a ton of damage. And this one companion is the key to success. We'll come back to the rest of the companions in a little bit. Okay, stats. First stat is Constitution. No brainer. We're trying to get max hit points. We're trying to get max damage resist. Second one is Charisma. The reason we're going for Charisma is we really want that action point gain. The combat advantage, companion stat bonuses, those are cool. But we really want the action point gain. What we don't want is critical chance, so we're not picking up wisdom. The control bonus would probably be nice. The control resist would be amazing. However, we don't want that crit, so we're not going to pick that stat up. Next, we're going to talk about feats. I like to do feats before power. This way you know what feats are feeding into what powers and why we pick those powers. Okay, so first, activating Divine Call now generates more AP. More AP equals more bubble equals happier party members. Next, we're going to pick up hit points. That's a no-brainer. We're going to lower the cooldown on our encounters. Again, we need to get those abilities out, especially our Binding Oath. If you're fighting Orcus, you need that to cool down about twice as fast as it actually cools down. So that's clutch. Wrathful Strikes. So unlike on my Ranger build, we actually use at-wills on this guy. So increasing more damage, like I said, more damage is the only way to maintain threat. I put 1 point into Light Shield, increases damage resist. I don't really like the conversion rate. You have to drop 5 points in just to get 2.5%. But I had an extra point, so I got the 0.5%. If you want to throw it somewhere else, it's up to you. I picked up Generate Divine Call faster. Again, the more Divine Call, the more time we can hit it, the more AP we get, the more bubble we have. Pretty straightforward. We're not healing, so we don't care about that. And auras increase range. You know what? I don't care. That's someone else's problem. If they want their aura, they'll get closer. This is amazing. Steadfast. We're going to turn that Constitution into more hit points. More hit points equals not only do we live longer, but we actually do more damage, which we'll talk about here in a second. Okay, so right now, right here, I'm going to give a shout out to SNKLZ as well as Captain Spicy Pants. This is by no means my own brainchild. It seems to be the general accepted spec for this, but I'm going to go through and explain it and why I picked certain things. So, for instance, we're going to go down Justice. Back that up. We're going to go down Justice because, again, more damage equals more threat. And we stay alive through Pally sorcery. So, first things first. I see some people pick Swift Flash, which means you increase your movement when you're struck. I was running this for a while, and it's nice. However, I decided to go ahead and get more control strength, which I absolutely love now that I have it. And we'll talk about why control strength is going to be important for tanking here in a minute when we talk about powers. Okay, Flash of Lights. Obviously, we're going to want to increase the cooldown, or decrease the cooldown, sorry, for all of our buddies nearby as well as ourselves, so that's nice. We're going to pick this one up. Inspires your buddies to move a little bit faster, and cooldown reduction. Again, we're trying to get that cooldown reduction. More abilities, more damage. No brainer. Rat Wills now trigger Echo. Echo may instantly recharge her encounter powers. Again, more powers, faster, more damage, more threat. Alright, at Wills, put a dot. Long story short, puts a dot, more damage. This Vengeful Judge is maybe the most important thing. So every time you hit tab or whatever your divine call is, I don't know what it is on the Xbox or PlayStation, you're going to reduce or have a chance to reduce the cooldown on your other abilities, which is amazing. Now, previously, Light was the accepted course of action. This was pre-Mod 9. Bulwark seems to be the way to go now that we're in Mod 9 and now into Mod 10. So no major changes here. We're going to want to increase that control resist. This way we spend less time on our back, because if you're on your back, you're not tanking very well. Here we're going to pick up this for if you're not moving, you increase your damage resist. A lot of the static fights, you're just going to run into the middle of it, start banging out abilities, and stand there and take hits. So that's going to increase your damage resist. And then this one, when you're healed, you gain defense. So hopefully you have a healer healing you. The good news is, I'm pretty sure this will also proc on lifesteal. So if you have any type of lifesteal, this will always be up. So that's good news. Okay, so now we're going to go over to powers. First, we're going to talk about at wills. All right. So the first and most obvious is Radiant Strike. Something you may not realize about Radiant Strike. Well, it is nice because it rushes you towards your enemy and hits everyone around you, which is very nice. If you look at the Radiance, it says your armor penetration and damage are increased by 5% for 15 seconds. It doesn't stack, but it is very nice. So as soon as you rush in, you get a 5% increase in armor pen and damage, which is critical, especially for armor pen if you're trying to hit that armor pen cap. I haven't yet on this character. Alright, so now I go back and forth between Shielding Strike and O Strike. O Strike supposedly taunts the enemy. I say supposedly because, I gotta be honest, I don't think anything does. I don't think any of our abilities properly taunt the target. However, if I'm doing a single target fight, let's say a dragon or Orcus or something like that, I'll usually pull out my O Strike just because hopefully it'll draw more threat, but really it's a crapshoot. Other than that, I like Shielding Strike because it is the most damage at will. You can see this only does 2k, whereas this one's doing, come on, there it is. This one's almost doing 3.5, so it's going to do a little bit more damage, which is nice. Okay, encounters. The first one that you just absolutely have to have, if you're a Paladin tank running around without this, you're doing it wrong, and it's Binding Oath. The bottom line is it's going to allow you to eat damage, however much damage it is, and dole it back out to your enemy at a later time. The bad news is it doles it out to you too. However, if you hit it before it runs its course, which I think is about 8 seconds, if I remember right, the whole rotation is about 8 seconds. What'll happen is you'll just make that damage disappear into the ether and start taking more damage. Again, to be reabsorbed. That being said, so this is really nice if you run into like a group and you can take the hit and you can dole it back out. So you'll do a ton of damage that they all did to you. However, if you're fighting like Orcus and you couldn't eat that hit in the first place, you're going to want to hit Binding Oath before it spits it back out. Otherwise, when it spits it back out, you're just going to be back where you were in the first place, dead on the floor. Okay, so second one, again, it's a must-have. Non-negotiable, Templar's Wrath. This is going to increase your hit points 300% of your damage dealt. More people around you, the more damage you're dealing, the more that Templar's Wrath is going to get. The other thing is, this is a AoE hit, and it's going to hit everybody around you. Hopefully it doesn't crit, and you're going to do a ton of damage to everyone around you. Now the last one is up for negotiation. I run Burning Light 99.99% of the time. What this does is it hits everyone around me, stuns them, and does a ton of damage because of that Owlbear cub. Alright, this in turn gives me a ton of threat. Now, if you're doing a single target and you're having trouble with threat, I have found that the Vow of Enmity does actually work a little bit. I say a little bit because it's not a fire and forget but it will help you build threat faster. And that's one of the ones that actually do build threat a little bit. The next thing we're going to talk about is dailies. Divine Judgment, I keep that up because I want to stomp on people's heads. I want to put a 4th point into that. I just haven't gotten enough points yet. And then the other one is the non-negotiable, which is the Divine Protector. I mean, the bottom line is, if you put your bubble up, you're keeping people safe. This is very useful in a million ways. The other useful side of this is, if you put your bubble up, you're going to eat the damage that all your companions are taking. If you match this with Binding Oath, you'll throw everybody's damage taken into your Binding Oath, which you can either absorb and, refresh it before it doles it back out, or you can dole it back out. If you dole out all that damage, it will quickly lead you up the damage meter. Alright, so now we're going to talk about our class features. The first and always class feature is Aura of Courage. So this goes back to we're trying to max out hit points. You and your allies within 30 feet of you deal 1% of your maximum hit points as radiant damage. Of course, we're going to increase that percentage, right? We're getting it up to 30%. So here's the thing. The more hit points you have, the more damage you're doing, which is why we want more hit points. Not only to stay alive, but to do more damage. Now, your second one, situational. I like Aura of Vengeance because it does more damage. However, if you don't have a whole lot of recovery and you find yourself needing your cooldowns faster, Aura of Wisdom is very nice. If you find that you're getting hit in the face too much, maybe Aura of Protection. But I gotta be honest, I find Aura of Wisdom more useful because it cools down my Binding Oath faster. Aura of Radiance. So it might be tempting to pick this because it says it builds bonus threat. However, I have not found that to be accurate. Ever. At all. But I put points into it just in case I feel like I hate myself and I want to give it a try. And then Aura of Truth, if you want them to do less damage to you. Again, I just let Binding Oath eat it, so it's kind of a non-issue. So, about tanking and some simple mechanics. So we talked about how the Burning Light, especially if you cook it up all the way, because just so you know, you can hold it down and it builds up. That stuns everybody, which is really good for tanking. If they're stunned, they're not attacking your friends. So does Templar's Wrath. It'll stun them, assuming they can be stunned, which will help you with tanking, which is really nice. I digress. Alright, so Boons. Boons are pretty straightforward, I think. You're always going to want defense or deflection over virtually everything else. Defense, deflection, and then lifesteal or healing. So here we pick defense over power. God, I love that power because it's going to dole out more damage with that Owlbear cub. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to take the hits. Deflect over crit. We don't want crit in the first place. If they had regeneration over crit, oh god, I hate to say it, but I'd probably pick it. If you haven't seen my other video, regeneration is worthless. Here, max HP increased. I like that. However, I went with the action point gain because I really need more bubble. More bubble. Okay, so when striking a foe, you have a chance to do more damage. I like more damage. And quite frankly, I don't need the heal. And then I went with this one. So I've heard, I can't remember who told me. I say who told me. I saw it on a video. Not sure whose video it was. They said that this feature is broken and the tooltip is not accurate. It will not properly stack 30 times. I don't know if that is true or not. If someone knows if that's true, please comment below with some sort of evidence. Just don't say Alright, so next one. Power. God, we love power. We picked power probably over crit. Yeah, there it is. Lifesteal. Again, I like lifesteal over regeneration's garbage. Deflect. I do like deflect. However, instead we decided to go with resistance ignored. Like I said, I'm having a hard time hitting that armor penetration on this character, so I had to go with that. Once I get to my armor pen cap, I will move up to more deflect, because more deflect equals more damage. Here we have when you do damage, you're going to do more. Chance on when taking damage to heal yourself up. That's cool. What's really nice is that I get that 4,000 defense for 10 seconds, which again, we need more defense. And we picked that over doing getting the heals. Here, I love this on every single one of my characters, Rampaging Madness. I don't know why you'd ever pick anything else. That 4,000 power is absolutely amazing, and this procs all the time, especially with that Owlbear Cub. That 4,000 powers is amazing. Okay, I haven't finished this tree out. I've got a few more days. However, here we go. AoE resist. If you're fighting Orcus, virtually everything is AoE, so that's very nice. And as a tank, you really don't have the option to move out of a lot of AoEs. I did miss the combat advantage bonus, but I need to stay alive. Incoming heals, that was pretty straightforward over stamina gain, and we'll talk about why we actually don't want stamina at the end of this. Here we go, Rapid Thaw. We picked recovery. Always need recovery. Never enough recovery. Over crit severity. Who cares about crit? We don't want it. We don't need it. Absolutely. Okay, so this will reduce your damage on the next attack, which is cool, but here's the thing. You gain 2,000 power based on how much stamina or guard you're missing. So if at all possible, we're going to wipe out our stamina and hit that Burning Light, which is going to drop a ton of damage. Alright, so when I get this final point on here, I'm probably going to drop it into this one. I believe it's, nope, sorry. There it is. Chance to gain 10% action points. Again, like I said, I need the action points, so I have my bubble cooldown. Alright, so here we go. Defense over power. I'd love to have that power, but we need to stay alive. Lifesteal over crit. That's a no-brainer, kind of like the other one. Regeneration, completely worthless. Combat advantage made more sense. Control effects now have 5% shorter durations. Okay, again, like I said, less time you're spending on your back, the more time you're doing damage, the more threat you're going to draw. Alright, so the reason I went with 10% damage versus demons is because, well, this outrageously low percentage chance to kill them immediately might sound nice, but it's only for lesser demons, which who cares when you're tanking. And then does less damage to you. That might be nice. However, I'm not really having a problem with taking damage from demons. I need to draw more threat, so that 10% damage is more important. And then on this one here, I gotta be honest, 25% control bonus might be nice against demons, because then I can stun them longer, which means they're not hitting other people. However, I can't rely on the fact that they're actually able to be stunned, so that 10% is more important to me. Oh, I'm so woefully behind. Please don't mock me because of my Tyranny of Dragons. However, the same thing holds. Here I was able to pick power over hit points. I'm trying to get my power up on this one. Hit points would have also been viable. It was kind of a toss-up. I'm going to be picking deflect over crit. That's a no-brainer. Defense is going to be over armor pen. Even though I really need more armor pen, I'm going to try and get it through enchants. I'm going to go with lifesteal over regen. That's obvious. For these, I might pick... ooh, hey, there we go. That's a nice one. Incoming heals will increase. I like that one. We don't need crit, and I don't need the control strength. I think I like that one, so people are giving me more heals. More heals, I stay alive longer. Who cares about guild ones? Alright, so, back to incoming healings, right? Gonna pick that one over the lifesteal. Hopefully I don't have to keep myself alive on this character. We're going to be picking, again, less time on your back, the more damage you're doing. Picking that over combat advantage. Again, I haven't finished this one out. However, I'm probably going to end up picking action points because, like I said, we definitely need more action points. And then at the end here, I'm definitely not picking Baphomet's Might. While I love this on all my other DPS characters, we're trying to get away from all that crit. So maybe the increased control strength. Yeah, definitely the increased control strength. It's not really great ones here. Hopefully we're never below 30% health. I can't even imagine. If we're below 30% health, we're already dead. And we're not healing anybody. So it's going to have to be that one. It's not great, but that's what we're going to go with. Here we got defense over power. Again, I'd love to have that power, but we really need that defense. Picking lifesteal severity over the regen. Who gives a crap about regen? Definitely don't pick crit. I don't even care what this is. Oh, recovery. Well, that's nice. But yeah, we definitely don't want crit. And then I went with the Wall of Wind. The reason I went to this one, yeah, that's fine. That hit point recovery is cool, but it's really all about that 1,000 recovery at the end. We're trying to get our abilities back faster. Moving on to companions. So we already talked about the Owlbear Cub. I'm not sure I can beat that horse dead enough. The other one I went with, so again, this goes back to the threat problems we have. This is the Black Ice Prospector, and he's going to give you 25% additional threat, or so it says. I've been running him for about 2 weeks now, and I've gotten good results. So I'm going to keep him. I know, laugh at me about my green Earth Elemental. I definitely need to upgrade him most rickety tick. But here's what I got, and Earth Elemental, if you can get him higher, it will be better. But the moral of the story is you should always be at max health. Anytime you're at max health, you do more damage. So as a tank, you should always be at max health. I got the little Fire Fairy here, or Flames Spirit, Sprite, if I could read. He gives me more action point gain. Again, I'd love to upgrade him. Just not in the cards right now. And then I have Stitches here, who's my recovery guy and armor pen. Again, he's, get him upgraded if you can. Mounts. So, I kind of lucked out here on mounts. Here's the thing, I got Gladiator's Guile out the gate because I'm trying to keep up with that crazy great weapons fighter that likes to run out in front and get himself killed. I'd rather him not die. So I'm going to run Gladiator's Guile. The rest of them are all designed to stack power and defense. All of them. And this is because the more power we have, the more damage we're doing, the more defense we have, the longer we're going to stay alive. These are pretty obvious. So that's what I'm running there. What this should look like when you're fighting is as soon as you get into a fight, the first thing I pop is Binding Oath. This way I don't get one shot. Then I'm going to pop that Wrath, Templar's Wrath, and you can see how my additional hit points came up. And then you're going to cook up that AoE, and you see all those numbers popping up. All those numbers, that's so nice. Now if you do that lunge, when you hit your tab ability, or sorry, your Divine Call, it's going to increase your damage as well and cool down your abilities. So you can see those numbers just popping up. And if you pay attention, you'll see like that crit was 2,000, but my regular hits are landing for what, 9.4, 9.7. They're obviously hitting harder if I don't crit, and that's that Owlbear Cub doing that for me. Again, our goal here is to get your power as high as possible. When I'm in a real fight, in a real group, I'm sitting right about 25, 26, 27, right around there, depending on the group makeup on power. Unfortunately, I'm at 4K crit. It is what it is. I'm reworking my various sets. I'm trying to get some more Dragonflight. I'm still a little young on my gear here, and obviously want to get that defense up. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope it was helpful. I'm going to be posting a couple other videos, and please tell me what you guys think in below. Again, definitely not 100% my spec. Big shout out to SNKLZ as well as Captain Spicy Pants for building out this spec. Thanks for watching, guys.